I'm not gonna get cute on this one.
At some point, like, I am kind of not necessarily being forced out of my comfort zone, because I am still doing it by like choice, but like in a way, like, okay, my genre doesn't really work as well in this environment. What else can I do?
I think there are people that, especially that we know, who are really into the music, who do appreciate that, despite this, like, you know, we gotta pit the old DJs versus the new DJs. We gotta pit the vinyl. Who cares?
Just
man?
play the music, man.
Hey, what's good, my friends? Thanks so much for checking out the Open Decks podcast. This week, Ryan and I are sitting down with our good friend Peter, who DJs under the moniker Kondi. Kondi's been spending some time in Germany this past year and is headed back soon, but decided to pop in and spend some time with us during his brief visit back to the DC area this summer. Thanks again for stopping by. Hope you all enjoy the conversation. Kondi, what's going on, man?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Really, really stoked to get on here, and you know, right before I leave. And yeah, it's just been great. We've known each other for a while, and I saw you guys started this podcast, and I was like, big fan. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. Yeah, thanks for getting me in.
It's been a good run so far. We've had some, like, you know, some hiccups with trying to level up our production the last like couple months or so, but we've got a few episodes recorded. Just a matter of like getting stuff ready to go and ready to go out. But always happy to add to our bag, and glad you're able to do it, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, hey. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is our debut in the theater room.
In the theater, honestly, one vote for the theater room. Chairs are comfortable. I mean, you know, everything's working. Like, I don't mind it.
We're 30 seconds in. Let's see how the rest of the
right.
That's right. We got time to go.
Yeah,
someone might just walk in at any moment. No.
It's all right. We got extra chairs. Why not?
Yeah.
Add them in.
Yeah, so you're headed back to Germany in the next couple of weeks, yeah? Something?
Yeah, actually on next Thursday.
A few days from now?
Yeah. That's why this is my last weekend in DC. So I'm glad to squeeze this in, and also, I mean, I know we got busy schedules tonight with our shows and stuff, so I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that too. But yeah, I've been in Germany. I left last October 2024. Been there for 9-ish months. Came back July and been here for a couple months, kind of just visiting, touching back in with family, friends, the DC scene, and going back for another 6 months next week. And yeah.
Awesome. What's the reason why are we going to Germany?
So I'm a master's student. So in case you didn't know, this is a PSA for everybody who's thinking about getting their master's degree, bachelor degree, whatever. At least for now, Germany, the German schools will offer like EU, basically local tuition to international students as well. So they're one of the few countries in Europe that do that. And so I learned about this through just some research, and I was like, hey, let me see. I work in like green building, sustainable building stuff. Let me see if there are any programs that are kind of doing that. And I found one, and I'm like saving a boatload of money. My tuition is like, I think I paid 380 euros for this semester, and it's 4 semesters. So you can imagine that that's quite the discount compared to the education in the U.S. right now.
My student loans are still hanging on from a while ago. But you're the second one we've had on who DJ in the D.C. area, headed overseas to get a master's degree. So I don't know if we're getting a little, like, we've got a little niche offering here with
like who else in DC is doing the same thing as these guys? Who's the other one?
But it's cool because it gives us, as we talked about earlier, like, and talked about with State Secret a couple months ago, right? It gives us a chance to just talk about some of the differences between like performances and music styles, and you know, I think some of it comes through like social media. It's very easy to see some of the intricacies and differences, whatever, but at the same time, like, we want to hear it from people who are experienced it. So we'll get into it, but so this summer, while you've been back in DC, or I know you've been outside DC as well, but like, where have you been spending this year?
This year, honestly, so in Germany, I've been doing exclusively student parties. So, I live in a student dorm, and they have our own, like, little party club room with like a small bar, and they basically throw events kind of like every other month, and they just dropped it in the group chat, like, hey, we're looking for DJs. Do you guys know anyone? I was like, hello,
Yeah.
I'm from America, but I can spin some tunes. And so I've been doing that there. But in the U.S., we did New York. We went up to New York with our friend Joe and did Ant's Coffee. So that was cool. That was like a nice little daytime show. First time DJing in New York for me. So that was really big. Really thankful to Joe for putting that together and inviting us out. And then, we got Vagabond tonight. Vagabond Bar and Kitchen. Where we're spinning some French house, French touch, kind of like 90s, early 2000s era stuff. And the whole concept is like DC to Paris is what we're calling the show. So it's like we're bringing some underground, like US underground Chicago house as well. We got Keenan Orr on the on the lineup, which I gotta thank you guys for that, because I listened to the episode with him and heard him talk about some of the music that he likes spinning out, and I was looking for one last person to join us on that lineup, and I was like, oh man, like he sounds like he'd be perfect. So I reached out to him. And he was like
the Chicago,
kind of just more of like underground, kind of like classic 90s house. Because I know, he's been in the scene since the 90s. So I was like, perfect, like. Sounds like the perfect fit. Reached out and got it together, and so really happy that happened.
Happy to play matchmaker.
Pretty much.
I haven't seen him live, but I've seen some of the stuff that he's doing on his YouTube channel with Key and T TV, I think is what it's called, where they're driving around in the back.
I saw that. That was, and he talked about it too on the episode. That's really. I'm still waiting to see him on the streets of DC. I gotta go out and try and catch him.
When you least expect it, I'm sure he's gonna be like flying by. But I know they do stuff down like Haynes Point area, right? It's kind of place where you can like just slow roll it. But man. We're booked tonight too, so I'm bummed I won't be able to get over there and check it out. But
likewise for you guys.
Good crowd in that space. So Vagabond, it's like the Patrick Swayze theme. Like when we were there last time, it was like Dirty Dancing. Like on the wall, like literally the movie just like on repeat. And probably like Roadhouse. I don't know what else they're showing. But
I really loved like they've really invested in that space a lot, because like. My joke today is going to be like, what's more underground French house than playing French house in the basement of a Mexican restaurant?
right.
But like, no, they've really made it like its own room. They got great audio in there. They got like lighting and stuff, and like you can control it from like the DJ booth. Like they're really cool.
What was our experience there? We
did that B2B with Little Big Deal.
Little Big Deal, yes.
Yeah, it was like we just picked up that little tablet, like, oh, what's this? And like.
And we had the community, what is that, fur jacket vest thing that we all like for?
It's a little too hot to keep that for long, but it was an experience. It is a cool space, man. It's like there's so many bigger rooms that are just frankly tough to fill with underground and local stuff. When you're going through like restaurant, bar, like I'm sure like there's ways to fill bigger spaces that kind of circumvent the normal like bar and club scene. But it's good. It probably holds like 60 to 80 people ish. So it feels like a good crowd. It's a good dance floor, good lights, and of course good music. So.
And it's perfect for like, I really like how they're having a lot of local DC DJs in. It's almost exclusively, I think, and maybe like Baltimore and like some New York maybe some Richmond DJs too that come up and do it, but it's like really exclusively like local scene. But they really, it's not like you can only go there for like Latin house or something like that. Like they throw, there's techno parties in there. We're doing French house and classic house. I've seen all sorts of like tech house stuff, like Afro house stuff. Like they're really got a variety of events that they're throwing there and bringing out talent from around the DMV area that do a bunch of different genres. So it's just really cool to see that in the DC area. We got clubs like that that'll welcome out the DC locals and even sometimes like beginner DJs. To throw down.
It's a good spot.
I got booked there for October 3rd.
Oh yeah,
and I'm doing opening and closing.
That's weird. What I do when I saw like you and Cabo and Matt, like and the aesthetic, like the thunderstorm aesthetic, I was like, damn, like it's gonna be a good night, man. Like I'm not booked that night, so I'm like, all right, like. I don't want anything that Friday. Like so, Friday, October 3rd. It's got to be back to Vagabond, because like I've never seen Cabo spin live, and of course seen you a million times, but like that lineup looked like
Cabo's good energy, man. Yeah. Thank you, Kaba, for.
Yeah, good dude too, man. Yeah, he came out.
Yeah.
He came out to the one we did a couple weeks ago in Arlington, and it's always like really cool, really special when DJs come out to support and like stick around. Like we talked to him throughout the night. Like he was there like to see
the whole
some of
night.
the DJs and like it was like it's very cool, man. So I much respect to Cabo for pulling up and now putting the man Ryan Soho on a powerhouse lineup, man.
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Besides that, in DC, I used to play gramophone a lot.
I miss gramophone.
Dude, I miss gramophone so much. They had open deck nights. I played. I mean, I was like, I was doing like, getting booked for shows and stuff, but I'd always come out to open decks and just get a 30-minute set in, play something new. Like it was really a community venue. Yeah. So sad to see it go. And then the other big place I've played out is Flash, and I know someone over there is having their Flash debut soon.
Right? Play at the bar next Friday. So
yeah,
it's gonna be good, man. It's like
You're built for Flash, honestly.
Really fun.
Yeah.
You're built for Flash bars. Flash bars is a wonderful. I think people sleep on it because
I didn't. I've said it before on the show. Like I didn't know that the bar was like open to the public until just like a year or so ago. Yeah. And but prior to like the ticketing, right? Like you can go to the bar, you can like enjoy local DJs, grab drinks, and without having to go through like the ticket. Upstairs, like it's really cool, man. So I've been back a few times. It's a hard place to get to just from where I'm at, from where I live to there. But like, been able to see a few people there this year, and it's always a good time because you just get so many people passing through, like to go to the bar, to go upstairs to the show. There's the rooftop, so you just get such a nice built-in energy and a built-in crowd. So yeah, I'm excited, man. But so you played a rooftop up there too?
Yeah. So I played the bar once and the rooftop 3 times.
Okay.
And all of the shows were with New Android. Yeah. So this is my like lottery ticket story in terms of DJing. But Flash Bar was my first gig ever.
Wow.
In public.
Nice.
And it honestly, I know I completely lucked out. I did not deserve that slot. I did not deserve that slot.
Man, I'm sure that story changed as soon as you step back there. It's like very clear. Yeah, you're good.
But no, I actually started clubbing. I'm 26 now. I started clubbing pretty much as soon as I turned 21. And I just went to a New Android show on the rooftop, and I talked to Blind Stairs or Yuri, and he was opening up for somebody, and that was my like, hey, like, how are you? Like, I also DJ. I loved your set, loved your vibe. And he happened to be essentially one of the 2 main artist relation guys for New Androids, and I think he was trying to have a little bit of fun, and so he basically DM'd me 2 days before the show, and was like, hey, I got a 12:30 a.m. slot for you at Flash Bar. Do you want it? And he knew I had no experience, so I was like,
that's a good time slot too, man. That's not. Yeah.
First time on CDJs.
Yeah.
Like I was breaking it before that show. Let me tell you, I was there. I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna suck. But no, it ended up great. It's a really like kind of trial by fire. Really threw in the deep end. But that's what I love about the bar is that it's very low stress. Like people are coming in and out because people come in for the free because it's free to get in the bar level. People come in and like stay for a couple minutes before going upstairs, or they'll come down and get a breather, stuff like that. So you got a lot of people going in and out, which is why I feel like you typically have like a solid group of like 15-20 people that hang out because they like what you're playing, right? Like there will be people, because of the throughput is so high, there'll be people who hang out, like, that'll come and like hear what you're playing and be like, oh, I actually kind of like this stuff. Let me hang out here for a little bit. And so you have like people coming in and out, but then you have like this little small group that kind of hangs with you for the night.
Yeah,
so
that's what it seems like. It's good. It's gonna be, it's funny because I've been playing a lot of like indie dance stuff, mid tempo, and when I was, to me, like I've been playing it for a few years, but I've never really strung together like a good like indie lineup or even a true like indie dance set because it's not been popular. Yeah. But I'm starting to see like people are playing it now. The guys that we had at our Indie Agenda event, they did some indie dance at Flash a few weeks ago. The like Groove Hall, so that's Lekka, Cole Butler, and Reef, and I was like, it was really exciting to see other people, very skilled musicians, playing the kind of music that I like. So it's kind of pushed me to like level up a little bit. Yeah. Because it's easy when it's kind of something new and novel, but now people are playing a little more. So anyway, it's not a podcast about me. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it.
I love hearing. I mean, obviously you guys are co-hosts and stuff, so we hear a lot about you on these episodes.
Yeah,
so I like it's a conversation. It should be.
This is part of the product, man.
Yeah, that's
we can
true.
rattle
Exactly.
We
can rattle on, but
yeah.
So first time you ever got on the decks live was at Flash at the bar, and now you're going back overseas for a little while, but like, what's your what are you trying to get? You're just trying to keep playing until you can't play anymore? Are you trying to do some production? Like, what's your goals here?
I'm trying to get like one proper show in Germany before I leave. Like, I've had some student, just like kind of student parties and stuff, but I have been experimenting with some techno and some trance.
Yeah.
And I've really been vibing with with trance as like I typically do deep house, disco house, and like funky jackin' house, I guess.
Yeah.
And I've been really vibing with trance for some reason. So I'm trying to lock down. I think I got something on the books. Don't know where yet, but it's like a proper venue in Germany. So that's kind of like my immediate goal. Just
you can
to say,
either
like,
go to the Dutch countries or even
Belgium.
That's
even.
true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's been super hard. Like, the way I did it in DC, which is like just coming up to someone and talking to them randomly and introducing myself, it does not work that way in Germany.
No. I was going to ask you, because it's pretty. I don't want to say it's easy, because that kind of overstates like just the quality and the volume of good music around here. But it is fairly easy and straightforward to say, like, hey, I'd like a shot, like, let's go. So like, but I was wondering, like, what does it take where you are in your experience to kind of get that?
Well, I mean, there's a reason why I've only done student stuff as a student, is that like that's an easy way into being like, hey, I'm also a student, like I can do this, you don't need to pay me that much, like I'm also, just whatever, like let me take over for the night. And they're like, yeah, sure, like, they'll book you in. But in terms of like an actual like venue, so I live in Hamburg right now, which isn't huge. It's not like Berlin, that has like venues all over the place. Hamburg's nightlife is actually more like bar club oriented, not really like techno club. There's a couple places, but even in Berlin, like, I mean, it's the nightlife scene. I will say my experiences in Germany have been great as a non-German English speaker. Actually, most people are super friendly and willing to accommodate. That's actually a preconception I was kind of worried about, of like, oh God, like, I know my phrases in German, but I can't have a conversation. I was like, is that going to be tough? And for the most part, like with school stuff and just everyday life, like in the grocery store, whatever, people will accommodate for you.
Had you traveled much internationally prior to like entering this program?
So I grew up in the DMV for the first like 7 years of my life, and then I actually moved abroad with my family, with my stepfather, who worked for the embassy. He was a diplomat. So I've lived abroad a lot. I've been in the U.S. for all of my, I think it was probably like 8 years now since moving, or before moving to Germany. Awesome. So it was the first time like living abroad alone. And first time in a while going abroad for that long. So it was a little bit of an adjustment, but it was relatively pretty easy for me just because I've done it before. But I was worried about the language barrier. But it really wasn't, like, for most things, everyday life, it was fine. The nightlife scene is definitely more like, it's harder to get around without speaking German. And it's also very hard to walk up to someone and like essentially like, ask them to do you a favor by speaking with you in English instead of German. And then that, like, because you're kind of already on an uphill battle of like, hey, like, I also DJ, like, I'm looking for work, stuff like that. Like, it's challenging. So I think it's more about just kind of like infiltrating the circles you can infiltrate. So I'm really using the student route right now because we have, international students, not only from outside of Europe, but other countries in Europe and stuff. So there's other people who don't speak German, and that's been it's been a lot easier doing that. But it's definitely super challenging to just walk into like a club or, a place that you want to play at and like just talk to the manager or something like that. Like, it's not as easy as it is.
So I mean, I know you said like, you said you mostly been playing like student events and whatnot, but I would imagine it still gives you, even with international students, it gives you a good idea of kind of the preferences for genre, the preferences for styles. Like, what's the style? What's the predominant kind of genre in music over there? At least in your experience.
Let me tell you, I actually sent over some students that were like the social chairs or something like that. One of my like house sets. and they're like, yeah, we tried house one time and it didn't work out, so we're not interested.
It's not enough snares, not enough.
So I was like, oh, okay, all right, so that's not gonna work. So I think there's two sides of it. There are the people that are really just trying to like go out and have a good time and love like just top 40. So I've actually I've played a couple nights where it was almost exclusively just top 40 like stuff, and let me tell you, they love their older US pop, like 2010, like early 2010s, mid 2010s stuff, like
Black Eyed Peas,
Usher, LMFAO, like all of those, they're big into it, which I love because that's the pop music. Like I don't really resonate with pop as much today, but during that time, like that was right when I like started listening to music seriously, and so I really love that stuff. So that's been really fun. And then the other side of it is like, you need to play techno, like techno, trance, hard groove, hard style, like all of those higher BPM. They love the energy, and I think that's what it is. I think house music is just too slow for a lot of people. And I guess I kind of understand it. You can still like, it's not like you can't. It's not allowed to play house music in Germany. And granted, all this is also in my personal experience, so I can't speak for the whole scene. But I mean, you can still find rooftops and places that do disco house and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, the majority of the scene is dominated by techno and higher BPM genres.
It's interesting to hear because I oftentimes you'll hear a country or a city and you'll be kind of distilled down to like the one thing that people know about that city or that country. And I think there's a lot more like there are more vibrant energies and scenes than a lot of us kind of are willing to accept, because like not everything in Germany is, I'm guessing, like focused on like imitating Berlin, right? I would expect that the music, especially in international, again, I could be wrong, I'm kind of hypothesizing, but like same is true and with everybody else we kind of talk to. It's like Denver's the base capital of the US, whatever, but also like there's a decent little house scene. And I think exploring those pockets, like whether it's through the lens, like your lens or others, like that's what's most interesting about all these conversations, is just getting these little tidbits of like, like we tried house, it didn't work. It's like, all right, note to self, right? Like, Hamburg,
There's a reason why the second mix I sent them was trance. There you go. I was like, how about this? They're like, yes, this is more, this is more our thing. And I think Berlin obviously has the global name of like, like Berlin style clubs, Berlin style music, whatever. In Germany, it's not like that at all. It's not like a Berlin style club. It's just the regular club, like, and I think that's the difference, is that like, the club, like the way they do them in Germany is just different. Like they design
like
the
foreign
space
student friendly kind of thing.
It depends. I mean, I'm sure everyone has kind of heard things about the Berlin door policies and stuff like that, and how it's not like every place isn't necessarily free access to everyone. Like the bouncing staff kind of does some selection, based on what event's going on inside. Are you dressed the part? Do you know who's playing?
I could understand the selection process with the door people.
And some of it I think is definitely valid and warranted. They're trying to protect the community inside, and also sometimes protect you who might not be part of the community from
absolutely
seeing or being a part of something that you might not necessarily want to be a part of. Like it's a complicated dynamic, but what I will say that I love about like Berlin and German style clubs is that I feel like they design the clubs for you to stay there a long time. Like I've been to clubs that have like a restaurant inside, like they have like they have food stalls, plenty of bathrooms, massive coat check. Like it's always so easy to get in and get everything you need, and it's like they really design it as like a livable space almost. Like there's places. The thing I tell everyone, the biggest difference is that, at least in Germany, I'm sure European clubs in general too, they have places for you to chill. Like they understand that techno, hard groove, hard style, all of these genres are very high energy things with really loud like pumping, and it's very easy to get overstimulated if you're there for 6, 8, 12, 24 hours. So they have places, and the people do that. People check in on Friday night and check out Sunday morning. Like that's something that does happen. But they design these places to have like chill rooms where you can go. I remember I was at a club and they had a room where they were playing soft jazz, like just in the hallway. You can just kind of go into this room. They got cushions. You can sit there. They got little soft jazz going. Like it's isolated, so you don't hear like the kick drum in the other room.
Completely
and so,
different like sensory experience.
It's just like and I don't know whether it's a business thing in the U.S., whether it's all about, you know, like maximizing like bar profit, or if it's just like a space thing, or maybe probably just a cultural thing, really. But we don't really have that here, which I think is kind of a loss, because I agree, like people, I think at least with a lot of my friends, they will tend to like leave the club early just because they're like, I've had enough. Yeah. Whereas in Berlin, the people who feel that way can go and take a breather for an hour outside, smoke a cigarette or do whatever, and then go back inside and be refreshed.
I'm sure it's difficult to find. I mean, there's I'm sure singular events that can kind of capture that, but in terms of like being embedded in the culture, like it's pretty hard to find. I think like, you know, in the U.S., most places, like they are like, it's trying to maximize like revenues and getting people to spend money at the club, at the bar, or whatever. And, you know, there's an argument to be made that like that's a complete departure from like the warehouse, the raves, like the essence. But at the same time, like it's created this kind of like come one, come all, come many, as opposed to the selection process, which is, you know, it's not really it's really not their job is to make sure thing. Like there are places that do it right, but it's not the predominant way to experience electronic music. Yeah,
I mean, I could say that like like there's sort of the stigma of American club culture. Like it's, you know, like it's just whatever you call it, just disposable in some way.
Yeah.
But like for them, it's like they're your weekends. Like this is your, you know, this is
the escape.
Or escape.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
You've been, Ryan. You've been to Berlin, right? A couple years ago. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you been elsewhere in Germany? Or?
No, just spent 3 days.
Yeah.
And I just try to do what I can with those 3 days of it, where like it was like maybe if I felt like clubbing and I didn't have at the tail end was Tomorrowland, and I didn't want to like pressure myself to get all this going on with like just like you said, overstimulating.
Yeah.
I had to like dial it down for Berlin, even though as much as I wanted to.
That sounds. I like almost don't believe it when you say it.
Well, like it was like spontaneous raves in parking lots, and it was all like 155 BPM. And,
yeah.
And you're like every street, everyone was walking down with the same outfit. Like they just looked like they came out of a Blade the movie or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. So
that's good.
Out of you know, you're experimenting with trance and like you talk about your preference kind of being like house and disco and like the stuff that you're playing like for the show at Vagabond, but that transition into kind of experimenting with different genre, like what's that been like what's the wins and losses, the pitfalls and I know it's too.
It's interesting because while at some point like I am kind of not necessarily being forced out of my comfort zone, because I am still doing it by like choice, but like in a way like, okay, my genre doesn't really work as well in this environment. What else can I do? And so I started experimenting with techno. You know, last 30 minutes of the house party, I'll throw on some stuff that I just downloaded off of my DJ pool or something, just to see what works, get a feel for it, like with at least some people in front of you, how they feel and stuff like that. And I think Ryan and I, we were actually talking about this earlier, but I think a lot of it has come down to like common elements in the music. And so for me, deep house and disco house and some of the jack and house, like it does have some of the like uplifting, euphoric energy to it of like, you know, really dancing, letting yourself loose and stuff like that. And to me, techno is kind of more of like a darker sound. It can be. There's obviously a variety of techno, but at least the techno that I've heard, it's very like hypnotic and just kind of like really intense sometimes. And then when I discovered trance, I actually stumbled upon a trance show in Berlin, one of my nights out by accident actually, and I was like, whoa, like this is different. And I'm sure everyone knows like the staple of deep house is the high violin note in the background, you know, like, and I was like, oh my, wait, hold on, some of these trance tracks have that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then like I listen, and with techno, a lot of techno, the bass, the kick drum is the bass, And so not all techno and hardstyle tracks have like a dedicated bass line, but trance can. And I'm like, oh wait, like the bass lines that I like, they're there too.
That's
and
the
so
engine.
Exactly. So I start kind of piecing it together. I'm like, wait, maybe this isn't as different as I thought it was. And I was like, okay. And then I started kind of like finding tracks here and there, putting together a little bit of like a, playlist in my record box, and started practicing at home. I'm like, oh my, like, wow, this is actually really, it feels familiar even though it's completely different.
I started out on trance way back in 1997, 1998. And Orbital, like they had this track, like it was my first introduction to like, wow, like this 4x4s, like there's house music, but this one is like more European driven. So I was just like, so yeah.
yeah. No, so it's been a really cool experience, and I've experimented with different types of house sounds before, but I've never really gone into like the really high, like tech house is the only high BPM thing I've really had, but played out before. But I'm excited to get a shot at playing some of this more, seeing 150 BPM on my CDJ, like
good luck with that.
It's cool. I see why. I've been to a lot of these parties.
You'll do fine. I'm just sorry. I just meant like
no. You're
I see 150 and I'm like, something's not right.
Well, we had this conversation. I was asking Tommy what his favorite. I've been asking DJs this question of what your favorite BPM is. Like, if you had to choose one BPM, what would it be? We actually have the same one, 123. Because we like. I mean, that's kind of like a very common deep house BPM.
Yeah.
And like, I know you like organic stuff too, so it kind of like bridges the gap between like.
Crunching a lot of different genres in that range, right? And and I'm sure the more we do this, there's a range kind of on the way up towards 132. You can do a lot more blending and mixing. So part of it is the like versatility, but also like that's just kind of where I like to kind of live, right? Like, I get pretty locked in.
Yeah,
like, and so it feels,
it's your default,
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of like hype. I don't like, it's the music. So, but I said yours. You asked me what I thought yours was, and I'll tell you. I said just take mine and double it. I think that's where Ryan would like to live. But
well, I did an indie set like in my bedroom, and I was just like, I miss this. Like just riding on that 123, 124. It's perfect for it.
My argument for 123 was, if you got a groover that goes at 123, it's good, right? Because I think it's kind of at least in the US, it's a little bit of a trend now. The BPMs are creeping up. We got tech house has been really big for a while. We got UKG coming in, and I mean, I'm hoping techno gets a shot to shine a little more too in the mainstream.
It's just because it's all compatible. Like if you can do garage to house or something like even some people do wubs with the garage or drum and bass with that's probably why.
I want jungle to come back. That's my hot take.
Yay.
I want jungle to come in in 2030 or something like that. Like but and so I lost my train of thought.
No, we're just talking about just generally the like BPM range and like, you're talking about playing trance, and I would assume you're going to be pushing trance well beyond 123. But
well beyond 123. And I mean, hey, if it goes well, maybe because I do like putting my maybe not promoter, but like organizer hat on and bringing a lineup together. So maybe if the trance show goes well in Germany, you can bring it over here and ask people to put together a cool show. Maybe at Vagabond, maybe somewhere else. I feel like Jimmy Valentine's could be a good.
Jimmy Valentine's would be such a great spot,
that sort of thing.
Our friend Diego does Psytrance.
No, I've talked to him a lot about. He has an event series, at least he put on a couple Psytrance events. I love Diego. He's great.
Is his Psytrance event? Is that the one that's we don't like happy people? Is that a different one?
I think that's a different one.
That's like techno, maybe. I think.
Is it? Which is his Psytrance event called? I can't remember.
I don't remember what the name was too.
Yeah, maybe.
I forgot what it was.
You know what? You're right. It's a different name, and I can't remember. He has a different moniker for it altogether.
Yeah.
But we went to one Same place we're playing tonight. Went to it was a Jay Solway.
Yeah. Tanya.
Tanya. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, it's a completely different energy than like I personally spend a lot of time within. But yeah, like to your kind of point, I think there's a place for it. So when you get back and you want to put it together, like you can make it happen, dude.
Yeah. We'll
they had a good crowd.
We'll see.
They had a nice crowd for was it Saturday night? Saturday night
Saturday
with a lot
night,
of competition around. A lot of good crowd, good dance floor. So.
Yeah, and I think DC's definitely starting to segment and like really bring shows with a lot of new genres. It's kind of what we're trying to do with this like whole French house thing is like throw it way back. And I mean, we'll see. We got hopefully a decent amount of people coming out today, and we'll see how the crowd.
You guys doing RSVPs?
Yeah, we're doing RSVPs on Shotgun. And yeah, we got we're at like 38, like almost 40 RSVPs. And again, for a venue that's like capacity is kind of 50, 60, like that's not, if those people pull through, like that's all we need really, you know, like, so I'm really excited to see how it plays out. And, but yeah, so I guess kind of circling back all the way to the question of like what I'm looking to do next is do like a nice show in Germany and then come back and hopefully kind of really put roots down in the DC scene. I love the scene here.
You're going to come back here?
I'm going to come back here. I'm definitely going to be here for at least a couple years, maybe even longer, and really try and like, you know, I'm dabbling with production now too.
Okay.
I've been doing that for the last like year and a half ish. It's been a really long process.
Are you dabbling with anything that you've been able to kind of put out there, or are you still just?
Yeah. I got one remix out right now. It's a remix of a Sade deep cut, and called "Give It Up," and it did well on SoundCloud. I didn't like pay for any promotion or anything like that, and it's like almost at like 2,000 listens and over like 50 downloads and
check
stuff.
it out.
It's really cool. No, it's a very like it's a very chill kind of like deep house, funky house remix, and it represents a lot of my journey because I started this thing probably a year ago. And I would work on it, and I'm like, okay, this is good, but I know I'm not good enough as a producer to put this out.
It's all a process,
So like, I had, it's a very interesting process of like working on it, and then being like, okay, I'm putting this on the shelf for 2 months while I learn, and then I'm gonna revisit it in 2 months and apply all of the things I've learned to it. To then hopefully one day be like, okay, I think this is ready for release, and I ended up doing that earlier, or in June of this year, July this year. Yeah.
I don't produce, but I saw something interesting this morning or last night from do you know Propa?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you know he was in Baltimore last night. A friend of ours was putting that show together, and he said something interesting in Threads, which was like basically his Grove Street remix that he did I mean, he's got a ton of remix good music, but like the Grove Street is the one that kind of elevated his career right now anyway. It's like he said, hey, I worked on this for like 7-8 hours straight, and then that was it. I put it out there right then and there, and he's touching on something that like I think, you know, you're at a different place, I think, but like a lot of people feel like they gotta like perfect and work, and I understand the perfectionist attitude, but also like, you know, sometimes you just got to put it out there. I remember we had on Miracle Tech, we talked to him, he kind of said the same thing. He's like, I have a hard time not releasing music because I just want to get it out there. And I just think it's interesting how people approach production, because one of the reasons I don't do it is because I'm a perfectionist and I don't want to.
I'm the same way.
I would there's no way I'd be working on stuff for years. I wouldn't put it out there. It's hard enough for me to perform other people's music, right? So I think it's like it's just cool to see the spectrum of people who are putting music out after like just, you know, like 1 or 2 like sessions, just going hard, going at it, and feeling like, yep, this is gonna do it. Versus like, man, I need to let this sit and marinate and go get myself right, and then come back to it. So
don't leave it on the shelf too long, though.
Yeah.
You know?
I would love to be one of those people, but I just know myself. I'm not one of those people. Like I need to think.
I think I'm gonna go steal your track and then put it out there for you.
No, but seriously, like I thank God for SoundCloud's like re-upload function, so you can like re-upload the file to the same track and it won't lose anything. I think I edited like the mix / master. like a bajillion times, and I must have re-uploaded the song to like private it under SoundCloud like at least 200 times, just like so I can listen to it on my train ride into school. Like, oh, okay, like this sounds off. I took notes on my notes app, and then like get home, do the changes, re-upload it, and it was just I did have to like you have to get to a point where you just gotta like let go.
My trash folders would be overflowing, like just overflowing. I would. There's no way, man. Like there's no way. I applaud anyone who takes like the time and effort to produce something truly original, especially in electronic music, because there's a lot of it out there. It's really hard to differentiate. It is. But when you get it right, when you truly feel that ownership and authenticity or whatever, like I would imagine it feels pretty damn good. Yeah.
In New York, I'm planning on playing the track in my set tonight at Vagabond. Sweet. But I played it for the first time in New York at the coffee house that we were playing at, because it fits the vibe very well, very chill. And there were a couple people around. It wasn't like a massive crowd or anything, but it definitely felt good, and like just like to be like I made this, and like to have it sound good on like a venue level speakers. I'm like, okay, like the hours I put in is it's worth it. So it's definitely something I want to fully original track is my beast for next year. I got like another remix I'm working on, hopefully to put out by the end of this year, and then next year I'm going to really try and see if I can do an original not remix thing and put that out and have that.
That's cool, man. Good luck. I like I said, man, I have like admiration.
I'm gonna put that on you, dude. Yeah. Put a timeline. Put a timeline on it.
I can't disappoint Ryan.
Can't.
Yeah,
for sure.
I actually learned who Propa was through one of his videos. He has a video of producing a track only using stock Logic.
Really?
I work on Logic, so I watched that video, and that was really I learned a lot of new tools from that. So shout out Propa.
He's from all I've seen, like just like super like authentic dude, just playing the music he likes. And I saw him at Zebby's a few months ago when he was in DC. And again, like it's not my like preferred style, but we had like a bass house show coming up at Ballroom shortly thereafter.
Oh yeah.
And so between his and Susan, like their stuff, and 9 Before 9, who was also on that night, I always feel like going to shows is a great way to learn how to like mix for a crowd that you're not necessarily like accustomed. We do a lot of multi-genre stuff, right? So like if we were like just like straight down the middle and had a huge following or whatever, it would be much easier. But like bass house, like okay, that's kind of cool, I get it, but it's not something I play a lot of. So going to shows really helps me like with track selection and vibes and like how to mix and what to mix. And I know it sounds probably ridiculous because it's not a uniquely challenging sound in that like the way that if I were to play like breaks or UKG, like that's a lot different than when I'm mixing like mid-tempo house. So it's just cool to go out and experience it and see what people are doing. But then like for someone like Propa to go look at their presence elsewhere online and be like, oh, this guy like knows what he's doing, clearly, gives a shit, and also like has just really good control and command of the crowd. It's really cool.
Yeah. To your point about like experiencing other DJs, I think when I approach music, like trying to select music for a show, I try and go down different routes. I have my DJ pool, I have like, SoundCloud and Spotify playlist. I think listening to other DJs is an invaluable source of music. Not because you're trying to rip them off or do what they're doing, but like I'll go out to a show or I'll listen to a DJ set on YouTube and I will pick out one or two of the tracks from their set that I think are amazing. And like at the end of the day, if another DJ picked that track, it kind of has value in that, like, okay, they picked this for a reason, and as long as you're not copying the whole set or like just copying all other DJs, you're obviously sourcing your own music too. But I think if they played it out for a crowd and the crowd likes it, like it's kind of like the whole thing of like, does the crowd really care where you got your music from?
Not
like,
really. I mean, they don't, especially the places that, again, we're playing places that are more, they're not open format, but they're not coming to see like oftentimes Ryan, Tommy, and Kondi. Like they're coming for good music, good show. Yeah. So there's a lot of flexibility. I like what you say, because like I do similar stuff, but like I've gotten to a point now where I try to avoid like the track selection from the stuff that I listen to, and what I'll do is I'll find the track, the artist, and then I'll start digging like what they're following on SoundCloud, what their similar artists are, and go down these like rabbit holes that find me 10, 15 years back. So some of the like indie dance stuff that I've been playing is from Octopus Records or other labels like 10, 12, 15 years ago, and it sounds fresh, specifically because I'm not hearing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like I like that's how you start getting, like how I've started getting music more and more is like SoundCloud and obviously live, and then saying, oh, I never heard of this person before. What are they spinning? And it's like, oh, they're spinning this guy who's from Argentina, or she's playing this, I don't know, like a something from Brazil or Lebanon or whatever it is. And then you start going to find all these artists who are really talented in places that you're not familiar with, and that's when it really feels like it takes off for me, at least. It's like you're like, oh, I found somebody that's a great DJ overseas. They're playing this stuff I've never heard before. It's great.
I know. I saw your level of sophistication with that after like you've been to Do Not Sit. You're sort of like,
I mean, that's
felt like that was like an educational purpose for you.
For sure, man. Yeah, for sure. Every time. I mean, they've got their regulars, but every time I'm down there, I find somebody new and new tracks, and like, the one I played one last on Thursday night. Yeah, that was like a remix of one of the people that was at Do Not Sit from like a few years. It's just cool to be able and like try new stuff and not get caught up in the track of the summer or the track of the week. Yes. I'm not going to name names because there's a few this summer which pop off. I get it, but like it's nice to throw in like stuff that you worked to find, and you worked to find the right like tracks to play it with in the right moment in the right crowd. That's a good feeling.
You're doing a good job with that, Austin. You're educating audience. That's our job.
That's actually kind of like a big. One of the big thing, like why I'm putting, or why we are all kind of coming together to do this French touch thing, is to kind of like, I don't know, educate kind of sounds a little bit condescending, but like at least like expose people that may have never heard this music before, that was big in the 90s and 2000s and then mostly forgotten about since then, and to see if they like it or not, and just do something different. And I will say, like the record label approach is never actually hasn't really been one of my ways of finding music. I prefer to listen to DJ sets or just like scroll through the new released on the DJ pool.
1001 track list.
With this show, I really did the record label approach because
cool.
I mean, I was always familiar with Roulet and Cri d'Amour, which are Guiman and Thomas's Daft Punk's labels from the 90s, before they even put out their first record, Home Workout. And I really did a deep dive for each of those labels and looked at the hits, the deep cuts, and everything. And there's actually really helpful, like there's just 2 SoundCloud playlists with like, because all that stuff was vinyl only. Well, it was never released on streaming. So
like, I'm sure you'll get this. I hope you get this tonight, and I'm sure you'll get it at some point if you haven't already. Like, what's even better, so you worked hard to find these tracks and these sounds that aren't necessarily predominant in your area or in your scene, and then you go play it, and there's somebody from the crowd who's like, oh, dude, I haven't heard that track in so long. I love it. Like that's the stuff. Like that's what happened at Jimmy Valentine's. We were doing an indie dance show. Yeah. They wasn't track specific. They're like, man, we've been looking for a place that plays indie dance. And you're like, that's great. To me, that's like, that is the cherry on top, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like, Candy Wax, their trio in DC, really good friends of mine. Remy, or DJ Flag, who's one of the trio, he's French, and I remember like when I was pitching the show to them to potentially play on, he was like, "Give me the date." Yeah, like I'm because he's like, he can't. There's not really a platform to play those type. And he spins vinyl. Like he's about that scene. Like he grew up in it. Yeah. So he was ready. He was like, I got everything. Like I got all of my deep cuts. Like ready. Like I'm gonna dig up this stuff.
So
and he was so excited.
There's you, Keenan.
Me, Keenan, Candy Wax. It's technically going to be just 2 of them. Okay. And instead of all 3, Jim or DJ Sexy Fresh has actually moved to Berlin.
That's right. That's right. We met him. Yeah, we met him at the Psytrance event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, good. I mean, good dude, good conversation. But it just clicked that that's the same dude. And I couldn't remember which of the Candy Wax.
There's 3 or 4.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah.
There's 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
he 2 tonight, right?
Yeah, just two tonight, and then Vinx as well. And she.
Oh yeah, how could I forget? Yeah.
Yeah. So she actually, I've met her recently. She the Candy Wax guys were like, oh yeah, like you should ask her to do it. I was like, oh yeah,
Thursday night. Like,
in Brooklyn.
No?
So I listened to her stuff and I kind of checked out her socials. I was like, oh yeah, like absolutely, let's do
music. Yeah, back when Ryan started DJing, I was vinyl DJ.
Ryan's the only vinyl in my in my life, man. Yeah,
I would love to learn. I would love to learn vinyl DJing. I think there's not really a huge place for it in the DC scene right now. Like Flash will bust out the decks for certain artists, but besides that, it's not very easy. Like New York, I'd say it's kind of club standard to have a vinyl setup, and I think there's more opportunities to play vinyl over there. But here in DC, at least right now, there isn't as much. But I got mad respect for the people who can spin on wax. Like it's really it's I understand how just learning on CDJs and like not looking at like record on your laptop like the stacked waveforms and like vinyl there is no waveform. There's nothing. There's no BPM besides what you write on the sleeve. You know. Like, it's crazy.
You were talking about that, but like writing and tagging. Do you still have your turntables?
Yeah, Audio Technicas.
Yeah,
not the fancy ones. The techniques, but
So we've obviously played together a bunch, but like. I've never seen like your record collection. Do you have a record collection? Like where's this hiding?
I haven't been digging for any new electronic music genres. Just been to the local ones where I get like 80s stuff. But like my collection is way back in my home state of Missouri.
Yeah.
And somewhere in Oscar's
collecting dust and
basement somewhere. I don't know where it is. We both had a shared crate. And that's what we spent our like hangouts doing, just bouncing, being against each other, and
when you got spare time, you got to go through Discogs, and like I bet you got a couple things in there that are worth quite some money now because all the really like rare white label and all that sort of stuff is going like really up now with vinyl with the prices and stuff like that.
I had to drive 2.5 hours out of my way to go to a record store, and I would just get loads of stuff. Like I had to find Higher State of Consciousness by Josh Wink, and I couldn't find it. It's only sold out, but I got the track Are You There? It's like a subliminal techno track, and I still have that one. I think that one is like, I don't know what's fetching price for first release for that one.
I mean some of these things are going crazy, hundreds of dollars like for one track too, which is like I understand if it's a rare 90s album, but one track for that much money,
that's the thing, crazy. Like, those are the ones you don't want to part with.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I remember going to house parties and they're like, "Hey, I know you spin," and like, you only have like one turntable. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
That's me right now. Because I started collecting more just for personal listening at home. Before I even started DJing, and so I have the nice Techniques SL1200s at home, and I just need to pull the trigger on a second one to really start DJing on it. But right now I just have like the single setup.
Slip mats and stylus.
Yeah, get the stylus and stuff.
I like looking at how much just like gear I've collected over the last 2 years really, and like stuff like podcast stuff like CDJs, mixers, like I do a lot of like rentals, so it pays off, but like I fear the moment I start dabbling in vinyl. Like I fear the space that just evaporates because the addiction to vinyl. Right. Doesn't have to be that strong to accumulate a lot very quickly. I fear that.
And you fear like any damages, anything that you're doing wrong as far as preserving it, and I
had a friend who had his collection swiped, his entire collection, just like a home, like a break-in, and somebody took it. Like, man, that sounds.
Yeah, someone stole my.
Someone really broke in, saw vinyl, and said, "I'm stealing that."
This is
that's crazy.
This is like. Probably 15, 20-ish years ago in DC, and he was my roommate for a while, and I wasn't DJing at the time, but I was always intrigued. I was very curious. He was very skilled, like had a ton of music, and then when he moved out of our place, he was doing a little bit more music. He was doing some like open deck stuff at like St. X in DC, like that underground place.
Yeah.
And I just remember like he told us that it happened, like somebody broke into his house and took it. And I was like, my heart was like broken for him, man. I felt awful because he had an incredible collection.
I'd be honest. I'd be like,
yeah,
I'm gonna be like Liam Neeson. I'm gonna go.
I mean,
after whoever find you.
Yeah.
It's probably took that guy a couple trips too, just to get so many crates of vinyl.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about how difficult it is bringing that stuff to a gig.
Now you make me paranoid. I'm gonna AirTag every one of these.
Yeah, you know, it's I don't know, man. But the concept sounds great. I love that it's making it's not that it's making a comeback necessarily, but it is finding a place,
finding a niche,
in a very different environment, right? Because we all understand like where house music was born, like where electronic music was born, like we get that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to see vinyl and vinyl DJs like holding their ground, I think is pretty cool. Like, you know, the kind of like the little bro of it and all this kind of admonishment for digital. I don't really care for that stuff very much, but I do think like it's got a nice place. There's new music coming out on vinyl here and there. I'd love to put together.
I can't live that life anymore, and crating around.
Yeah. No, I 100% believe in like technology is built to ideally make our lives easier. So like if you want to use the sync button on your CDJ, you can use the sync button on your CDJ. I'm not going to care. The crowd's not going to care. But I think, exactly. And so I have no problem with people going digital and like, doing the whole thing and using all the tools they have access to. Yeah. It's allowed people to do things that they've never been able to do before.
Invalidate you.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, at least the way I see like vinyl DJs is that like there's a level of respect that you give people for, essentially inconveniencing themselves like for the love of the game, essentially. Like, and I appreciate that
for sure. And it does. I mean, there's a level of authenticity and originality to it that I think is still much appreciated, even by like the new DJs, the new generation, like Gen Z, like whatever. Like, I think there are people that, especially that we know, who are really into the music, who do appreciate that, despite this, like, we gotta pit the old DJs versus the new DJs. We gotta pit the vinyl. Who cares?
Just
man?
Play the music,
like,
man.
Just play the music.
Like, nobody cares about that on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, CDJ 3000, the new ones. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Yeah, the
Alpha Thetas.
Not
Pioneer anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have a need for them. Like I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah.
But I don't have a need for them. I'm sure what's going to be cool, and I don't say that to be cynical, right? But like I think what's going to be cool is as people get this new technology in their hands and start to use it, they're going to figure out the best ways to do it.
Yeah.
Right. First glance to me, like, seems very much built around like two things.
Cloud-based or something.
Yeah. Convenience, right? Which is very cool.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I like. I mean, you got like Beatport, and like when we're able to.
the Denon Primes.
Yeah. When we're able to drag, that's cool. But for live performances, it's not really something that I use, or people have asked. No one's ever asked me like, can I stream Tidal or whatever? I'm like, I don't think so. So it's the convenience factor, which I understand, and then it's to solve the James Hype problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Doing the what is it? Gate cues.
Yeah. Which is, again, it's fine. It's a new skill set, but for me, it's not something that no one's ever asked me for, and I don't use it, so it's not a. But I'm curious to see how people like. Utilize it, make the best of it. Yeah,
I think we just kind of we've gotten to a place now where like the innovation boom has kind of happened, and there's just not really there's not a lot left to do necessarily. Like people have been DJing successfully on CDJs for the last 20, 30 years, and obviously with every new release, like there's some added feature, convenience, but like the CDJ 3000s are like, you don't really need. There's nothing more that you need, right? Like I guess the only thing I could see is if they are able to crack the code on stem separation on a CDJ.
Seems to be
that would be groundbreaking, you know, because obviously the controllers have started to do that with like the Flex 10 and stuff. Because I had one of those and I was like, oh, this is super cool.
Flex 10 is awesome for that.
Yeah. But then like I get to the club, I'm like, oh, okay, like I can't. So it does, you know, and I'll DJ just fine. But like that feature to me, I think would be. Hopefully we'll get to see it eventually. But I think we're just at a place now where it's like, you know, all of the CDJ problems for like the earlier model, they've all been solved, right? You know, like you can see the waveform.
I wish they could make it where you could, you know, Bluetooth all the CDJs with each other and the mixer.
Oh, instead of the link cable? I don't know if I trust that. Yeah, I'll trust the cable over Bluetooth connection.
Yeah.
It's what else is gonna be interesting about these things. I know the screens are a little bigger, and having like done a bunch of events this year where I'm cramming like 3 or 4 CDJs into a smaller table. I hope everything fits. I really do wonder about everything fitting like on these tables that are built for, you know, like 63 inches or 92 inches or whatever it takes to fit 3 or 4 plus an A9, and now you introduce this like bigger screen or something that's just a little bit bigger. And you're like, all right, everybody's got to reset their table. You might have to get a cables that are a little bit longer. Like, I don't know. I mean, all these little things that I've thought about as I've done more like setup and like gear rentals and things like that. Like, oh, the V10 is just a little bit bigger than the A9, so my 3 foot like digitals don't reach the bars. Like, damn it! Like all these things. So that I'm also kind of comically interested in with the 3000X if anything like that comes up.
This is why I like just being able to come to the club with a USB stick.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, obviously as someone who does rentals and organizes stuff and like has to set up things, I totally hear you. But I'm so glad that you don't have to like bring your own box of records and needles anymore. As much, you know, like as much as that's cool and stuff, but like being able to just show up with a USB plug in and play and then
maybe I'm building up the tolerance. I like, you know, carrying speakers and 4 flight cases and all the other stuff like builds up a nice tolerance for someday when I am spinning on vinyl. I'd be like, 3 crates? It's nothing, man. Like, come on.
Bring out the cart.
I got the beachcomber, man. I've gotten like the.
I'm gonna have to go check out Candy Wax's like you know, doing the vinyl set.
So Remy does vinyl. I don't think they actually, because I think Remy's the only one out of the trio who does do vinyl, and I don't think that, again, like, because like I said, in DC there isn't really like a big platform for it. Not a lot of clubs will have a vinyl setup, so I actually don't think he's spun like on vinyl at a club in a long time.
I have my decks.
Let's find a way.
Let's find a way.
Yeah, that would be really. I'll go to that show.
I know. I DM'd you about this last year. I was trying to find people to do some vinyl stuff.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's like, and that, you know, this is when I was just asking around and like trying to find something new. But yeah, I think, you know, doing a vinyl show with people who like specialize in it is good. We do like open decks. And I think there's a chance to do like some experimentation for an open decks with vinyl and
that's actually I'm part of because I was obviously trying to see if I can weasel my way into a Berlin gig, but I'm actually part of a WhatsApp group that's like you know, like beginner DJs in Berlin and stuff like that. Yeah. And like the one open decks event that they have in Berlin that's open is a vinyl one. It's like vinyl only, and I'm like, oh, dang it! If only I learned how to. I would love to do that, but we should talk about that because I actually have some friends in New York, and that they would probably love a shot to come down and play somewhere in DC. Yeah, and I know you guys got District Apple going on where you're trying to do this sort of like DC DJs in New York and maybe New York DJs in DC. So I think we could definitely, that would be cool. Put something like that together.
It's, you know, there's a lot of like open deck stuff happening, which I think is great. You know, our open decks, in addition to the podcast being called Open Decks Podcast, like, you know, what we've tried to do is one, like always hosting open decks on an off night. And so generally never anything on Fridays and Saturdays, and generally like on a Tuesday or like when it's not football season on a Sunday. Clubs and bars are dead. They need a little extra business. We're happy to provide a boost. But I like that doing it on an off night gives DJs who are not just beginner DJs a chance to come out and spin, a chance to come out and network, whatever it is. And I think vinyl might draw out some more experienced we get some experienced DJs at our open decks. We get a good mix. A lot of newbies, but also we get some experience as well. I think vinyl's a nice way to say to.
You never know who's gonna come out of the woodwork though. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's cool, man. No, but it's cool. Like that's what I'm excited about, is being able to like just offer something a little different. That's not like, open decks, it's only for new DJs. Like, no, it's not. Like, you can come out and spin whatever you want, experiment. So,
I think it's a cool thing to throw in the mix, once every quarter, once every 3 months, do a vinyl one instead of a digital. We're doing,
it's not nearly as consequential, I guess. Like this one we're doing next week is with the RMX, and I don't use it because I don't really need to, but I've heard people ask about it. People rent it. People are kind of curious. So I'm like, all right, let's bring it out to the next one and, let people experiment a little bit. And I think, the people I talk to have asked about it, like they appreciate being able, it's almost like try before you buy kind of thing for some of these guys, but also like they see things like this being used and they're like, wait, what does that do? And I'm just like, let's come on out and try it out. Why not? Let's see. But vinyl is another like next level.
That's one of those that you can't try vinyl. You have to you have to know how to do it. It's different piece,
and that's why we make we try to make sure we have people there who know, because we're not there to like just like, hey, step up and play, and we're like, no, we'll help you through it. Like we help people find the like headphone cues on the E19, for example. Like, it doesn't matter. Like there's no judgment. So if you've never touched vinyl, like come on, we got you.
I remember when we met. I forget what the place is in Herndon, the bar that you guys.
Sully's.
Sully's. Yeah, that's where we met, and I came for one of your open decks, and I remember one of the DJs. I forgot her name. I think you spun with her maybe, but I remember it was like her first time playing, and she wasn't familiar with CDJs, and I remember you guys paired up together.
DJ
and you like just showed her the it was DJ Fatty and you showed her the ropes of like how to find all the buttons and do all the stuff that you've been practicing on home on a different setup, and by the end of that set,
buttons and
exactly, like obviously it started off a little rough because you're as with all of us when we're on brand new equipment, like when we have no experience, you're kind of figuring it out. But by the end of it, like she knew how to use CDJs and like that, especially I remember that jump of like having to, because I was kind of thrown into it. Like I was watching like hours of YouTube videos beforehand on like, here's the tour of your CDJ 2000 or Nexus 2, whatever. But like being able to like pair up with an experienced DJ and like get a little, even if it's just that one time, just get a few pointers and stuff. It's super valuable for new DJs.
All the ones that came, and they all of them had the Pioneer or the all-in-one, and now they're just like busy with 2 screens and
we pretty consistently get 1 or 2 new DJs. I mean, we've had like I think Double Down, the first time he messed around in CDJs was at Sully's, and I mean he's a good DJ, great performer. Like he's like elevated himself so much in the last year. But I think even if you're really good or really experienced, but you haven't touched this particular gear, and you know that that's the standard, just getting a shot to do it, that's very like low risk or low pressure, I think helps people out. Like Double Down, and then Mushroom Ninja came out to Jimmy's last time. She had told us that was her first go around with CDJs, and we had guys who like DJ regularly who were like, I just came to see if I could get a spot, and I'm like, sold out, man. But no, it's cool to be able to have that mix of people who are trying stuff out, and again, do it in a supportive, like low risk, low pressure environment, because we hype this up so much to be like, like, oh, I got to be perfect or I got to perform. It's like, nah, just take a minute, figure it out, you'll be fine.
I feel like a lot of people sort of think that as the DJ, you're like solely responsible for like the quality of night that anybody at that venue has. Where like, while obviously you do have a lot of influence, it's not necessarily that deep. At the end of the day, if you play music that you like to dance to, there are going to be people out there that like dancing to your music. And I think, again, to your point of like doing it on an off night, is that I feel like that it lowers that pressure of like, like I'm responsible for the entire
it should be
vibe,
a low pressure situation.
Like, the people who are there kind of know it's an open decks event. A lot of people there are other DJs, so they can also like help you out or like give you tips and stuff like that if they want to. And I mean, that's why I miss Gramophone so much, because they used to do that once a month, and it was
learned a lot from Nick when he had Gramophone. Just little things, like he would come up and just kind of teach you, like, just we've all been on a mixer where people are cranking the trim to a place that you don't recognize, to a different zip code, right? And you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like Nick would always say like, okay, this is where you want to be. Like he had a very particular way of doing it and was very attentive to, especially on the open decks nights. I appreciate that, and I can do a little bit of that on my own. Like, like, oh, it's easy to say like don't redline. It's more meaningful to say like, hey, redlining is going to create this, and this for you. And we try to do it. But Nick was great. Gramophone, he was really cool.
I have you've reminded me of a funny story at Gramophone during one of the open deck nights, because you mentioned trim. I had a guy that I met that night who was performing. I can't forget if it was before or after me for 30 minutes. He was also doing disco house, so he started talking, and then I saw him get up on the decks, and instead of using the volume faders,
people don't even know what the stuff does.
He was mixing on the trim knobs. Yeah. And I was like, is this a thing? I was like, and he was like, this is just how I learned to do it.
Exactly.
I'm like,
people
that's
do
crazy.
It self-taught. They don't know, and it's easy to say like, oh, you moron. But the reality is like, it probably takes 30 seconds to teach someone like, hey, try this, do this instead. Done. That's it. It takes very little effort to do that, right? You just gotta care.
But like he was also like, he was a little older than me, and he was definitely experienced at DJing. He wasn't like new, but I was just like, wow, that's crazy.
He's probably on rotary mixers.
That might be an interesting point.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this tab?
And I'm sure like absent any other people on the decks, it probably flies and you don't notice a huge difference. But like the kind of where I started this is like, you've got a consistent way of using these things from DJ to DJ, right? Like from performer to performer, like you need, it's like leave the decks better than when you found them, right? Like all those things. And I appreciate that, again, like Nick was willing to provide that kind of etiquette for not just for me necessarily, but for a lot of people who come through. I haven't seen everybody follow his etiquette, but I do appreciate that he spent the time on it. Yeah,
he genuinely loved the scene. Like I remember like talking to him, and he'd like in the middle of the night, he would take us into his like little back closet where he's got like some of his nicer gear. And he'd be like, show us like the zone, whatever the famous zone mixer is. He's got one of those, and he was like, look at this, and I'm like, whoa, I've never seen one of these before. Like he just loved So hopefully maybe. I don't know. I actually the sign is the gramophone is still on the door.
Still on the door.
So I'm like, every time I pass it on the way to Flash, I'm like, maybe one day.
I'm in that neighborhood tonight.
It'll come back, but I don't know. We'll see.
Shed a tear.
Exactly. Pour a cold one out for gramophone.
Well, good, man, gentlemen. We are. I'm going to guess that we're right at about an hour. I'm say hour 5, hour 10.
Yeah.
Feels like an hour 5.
Yeah.
Thanks again for coming out to do this, man. I'm glad we finally got the schedule situated.
Yeah.
We try to just put this one out quickly, man. Get it, I've got a few more in the bag, but I don't want to sit on this one. So
thanks a lot for getting me in the schedule and stuff before I jet off to Germany. And it's been awesome being a part of it. And like Joe said on one of your previous episodes, like, what's better than sitting around with some friends talking about house music?
I think he called it the kingdom of heaven.
That's true. I remember listening to that. I was like, wow, that's been powerful.
And also get that track out.
I have. I'm definitely going to be getting.
I'm going to send you Rick Rubin's like all these inspiration things from Rick Rubin.
I'm just going to have my DMs on Instagram. It's just Ryan every month is like, I hope you put in your hours in front of the DAW this week.
It's like, dude, you're already successful if you already put it out there. Quote unquote.
Awesome, guys. Ryan, you have one more question. I'm sure of it.
Where can they find you on socials? I'm not gonna get cute on this one.
On Instagram, which is my primary method of promoting stuff and sharing things. Kondi, KONDI.DJ, and then my SoundCloud is Kondi, KONDI_DJ. Yeah. And I don't have a Spotify or streaming yet because I don't have original music, but hopefully next year I'll have that situated. But yeah, give me a follow. Go listen to my remix on SoundCloud. Give it up. And
good stuff.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Man. Awesome, man. Thanks again. Appreciate you being here. All right. Good luck tonight. Safe travels.
Yeah, you guys as well. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear about your show. And I'm sure we'll have a
next
conversation.
Next time, let's not schedule them on the same night.
Yeah, for sure.